Hello, everyone. I have another season 15 top four interview, and joining me today is Ryan. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks. Thanks for having me on, Lucas.
All right, yeah, I'm pretty excited. I love when it gets pretty dialed up here. The intensity is dialed up, uh, and anyway, I'd like to say congratulations on making it this far. There were about 330 players or so that signed up to the main Swiss brackets, and so of being in the top four is an incredible accomplishment. So congratulations.
I do appreciate it. Yeah, I'm glad I've made it this far.
So you've been playing Asgard this season. What about how have you felt this season? Do you have any way to summarize how the season has gone for you, and how have Asgard been?
Yeah, I really enjoy playing Asgard. I've dabbled with them a little bit, kind of early on when the game was still new and the first Asgard characters came out. But I haven't played them in a while until the most recent affiliation box came out, and all of those characters in that box are just they're great. They're all very good in their own right, and kind of got me excited to play the affiliation again. Um, and I've had a lot of fun with them. I think I like the characters themselves. I think they're fun. It's fun to sit down at show up at an event and put down a squad of all these red capes
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
your side of the board. That part's fun. Um, and they're it just happens to work out. They're also very strong right now. Um, I've, like I said, picked them up when that new box came out. Been playing them pretty consistently since then. Um, I was fortunate enough to bring them to the Nova Open
Yes,
a few months ago, a big tournament in Washington D.C. on Labor Day weekend, and I was able to win
that's
uh,
awesome.
the whole thing there with this Asgard list, very close to what I'm playing in the TTS season, although that event was pre ban and restricted list update. So
Right,
it
the
was
strongest they
it
were
was even
ever. Yes,
more
yes.
yeah, sort of extreme Asgard stuff. Yeah.
So, looking back at this season, are there any games or any sort of crazy things that happened? Any like memories looking back at the matches you played that you would like to bring up?
Good question. The one that sticks out most to me was I had one loss during the Swiss rounds of the season, and that was against Sploosh and his Black Order squad. He was playing just a classic Thanos, Corvus Proxima, um, Mind in Space Thanos, Reality Corvus. I think we were actually playing at 17 threat, and so he was even playing a threat down.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
yeah, he got me. You know how Black Order can be. Sometimes they are good at murdering things, and that's what he was able to do.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I've talked about that with Sploosh and Mike about that because I brought a similar list to another event. Because the Black Order has was just stronger than the Cabal, so just flexing them in.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeah, of course, like the damage reduction on them and the priority manipulation, and having four actions to break through Odin's blessing, things like that. So there's the a it's not like a perfect solution against a very strong team like Asgard, but it had good options in it.
For sure,
So I can
for sure.
see I can see how it was puzzling to have to play against
Oh yeah,
piloting
yeah,
Asgard.
and kind of flips the tables a little bit on as the Asgard player, especially the way I play Asgard. I'm usually keeping priority or controlling priority, but Black Order just
Yes, yes.
Black Order does it better.
Yeah, very cool. So actually, I listened back because you have made the semifinals before, back in season 8. This is pre Longshanks era, so for anyone who's new, it's been ages.
Wow, yeah.
And I was listening back to your top four interview when you did with Jacob, and so I'm just gonna give the listeners a quick little recap of what you said in there, so we can just so that everyone is on the same page here. But you said that you were into X-wing casually. You then you also played Imperial Assault on the skirmish mode, and you did really well in that before the game basically came to its end. And then you found MCP pretty early on in its existence. You've been playing the TTS League since season 3, and like you mentioned, you won. You just won a GT, an AMG GT, which was Nova, and I also saw that you won Nova 2 years back as well. So you're a two-time Nova champion. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, good. I mean, nice research. All that is true. Yeah, well done. Good
So
notes
so
there.
how so yeah how Nova is local to you?
Yeah, so I'm in North Carolina. I'm in close to the Raleigh and Durham area, and so Washington D.C. It's about a 4 or 5 hour drive for me. And I'll say I think one of my secret advantages to going to the Nova Open and doing well at that. It's a big convention, a
Yes.
3 day,
Okay.
multi-day convention, tons of events there.
Very
Um,
cool.
Most people travel in, stay in hotels there. I think my sort of secret weapon for doing well at Nova is my in-laws actually live um, in Northern Virginia. Usually it's about 30 minutes away from where the Nova event is held. So, I get kind of the perks of like going to stay with family, sleep in a real bed, eat home cooked
Very
meals.
cool.
While most other people are like in a hotel, staying up late, partying, eating hotel food and that kind of thing. So I hold on to thinking that's one of the things that helps me out that weekend.
Yeah, actually, that's funny you say that. I can relate because anytime I travel more than a couple hours, in Ontario at least, there's a couple of Ontario guys that I crash at their places at, and yeah, like I feel like I just have this like mental edge or something. I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
different being able to stay with like your friends at
for
their
sure.
houses or whatever, or in your case, your in-laws. So that's very cool.
Hmm.
Do you have a local game store in North Carolina that you play at?
I do, yeah. There's a store in Durham, North Carolina, a big store called Atomic Empire. And they've actually, some people may be familiar with them because they do a lot of like online sales and stuff. As far as I know, I think it's the biggest game store in the state. And we've had a strong MCP community there for years now. Um, we do we do a couple in-person leagues a few times per year, and we tend to kind of alternate those between, we'll do a competitive, just sort of straight up kind of league, and then we'll alternate to some more of like a fun um, alternate format. Just recently, we did a team style league where we did a draft of every character in the game. So
Very cool.
we had two teams of five. We all got together one evening, drafted out all 200 characters that are in the game currently,
Yeah, yeah.
and then each team got to assemble essentially five rosters, and then we played basically a team league for a few weeks. So yeah, like I said, a great community here. We have probably have a little tournament about each quarter per year, and we get anywhere from 8 to 12 to more people depending on time of year and stuff. Um, so
Awesome.
yeah, really happy with that local community and some really good players here too, which helps.
Do any other players in that area play online, or is there anyone that in particular that's from
Yeah,
your area?
yeah. One of my so yeah, funny story. The guy that I played the final game against at Nova, the championship game at Nova, was one of my locals that I play with at my local store.
Oh, okay.
He
That's
his name
awesome.
is Will. He goes by Rec on
Yes,
the
yes,
Discords. You may have seen him.
yes.
He does well. He's for a while he was a great X Force player. That's what he played at Nova, um, and is now sort of sliding into Hellfire Club and all of its
Uh oh.
yeah all all those problems. but yeah, no, he's a big TTS player as well, and like I said, it was cool to get to the Nova Championship and play against one of my buddies that
Yeah,
lives a few minutes away.
that's so cool. Just to come from out of state and just take the top two spots, no matter
Mhm.
what. Yeah, yeah. It's that's real. Uh, that is really cool. Yeah. So you've been playing MCP for since the beginning, and also I did notice that you have done pretty well in I don't in at least one online league for Shatterpoint. So
Yeah.
you've got a different now you have like a new perspective or a different perspective on another AMG game. So I guess
Hmm.
my question uh, is that why do you keep playing MCP? What do you like about it?
Good question. And I mean, maybe this is probably some red meat for this kind of audience, but I'll put it out there. I've played Shatterpoint since it was released, which is now about a year and a half ago, and I enjoy the game. I enjoy playing it, but I can say confidently that in that year and a half that I played it, I've never once had an experience where I felt like Shatterpoint was the better game.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, it's a fun game. I enjoy it, but for my tastes, MCP just offers so much more. Even when Crisis Protocols had its ups and downs over the years, right? There's different times of the meta when certain things are too powerful, or maybe things get a bit stagnant, and it can make sort of the competitive side of the game feel a bit frustrating at times. But um, yeah, I don't know. I always come back to MCP as the game that I have more fun with. That kind of tickles my brain
Yeah.
more. Um, and so I've always, for me, Shatterpoint's always kind of been like my secondary game since it came out.
Ah,
Um,
nice, nice. The I was at a tournament recently when both games running side by side, and the one thing that like the one I originally bought like the day one stuff for Shatterpoint and have that all painted up,
mm-hmm.
and I was looking at all the new models and all that the players are playing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I had like unlimited money, I would be painting Shatterpoint figures because they are so cool.
They're great models. There's no doubt about that. They're excellent. Yeah, AMG does a great job with their sculpting, their modeling. They knock it out of the park just so consistently. Um, it's been interesting to see. Like I said, Shatterpoint's been out for a year and a half, and they have not done any kind of significant errata pass or character update or anything like that. There have been a few sort of minor erratas here and there, mostly more just like wording clarifications.
Right.
Um, but it's been interesting because I do think when MCP first launched, I think there was the first errata pass around this time in the game's lifespan, about 18 months into it or so. If I remember correctly, I think I heard them announce that they were going to do a Shatterpoint sort of errata, but had said it was not coming until like June of next year.
Yeah.
So that to me, that's yeah, 2 full years of seems like a long time. I'm sure they have their reasons. I will say, I having played MCP since the launch and Shatterpoint since the launch, I think uh, Atomic Mass Games is really good about making good changes to their games. I think we all wish maybe they came a little quicker
Yeah.
or a little sooner at times, but I have consistently been happy with the changes they've made over time.
Yeah, that's very fair. I agree with that. That's cool that you've been in the MCP hobby or like in this space since the beginning.
Yeah, I think I can remember getting I think I got the original core box like at Christmas time, 5 years ago now, because it
Wow,
launched
yeah.
2019. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I got in I think um oh man, I think I got in April of 2020. Oh, hold on, 2021. Wow. So yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I think that's on it. I
yeah.
Thanos was already out by the time I got in. I don't know the
Okay.
timing. So um, and yeah. So anyway, have you? Oh, so you've played other miniature games, and so is painting or is the art the that art side of the hobby something that you do?
It is, yeah. It was not something I was really into before. I guess when I was playing Star Wars Imperial Assault is when I kind of first got into painting miniatures. Um, and, very crudely, just kind of like how we all start out.
Yeah.
I'm no pro painter and, don't necessarily aspire to be, but I do enjoy the hobby side of it. I enjoy I, I think sometimes I actually enjoy the sort of modding because I do kind of like to tinker with my models and try to modify them a little bit, or sometimes do a little kit bashing. And I enjoy kind of figuring out those almost like engineering problems. Um, I enjoy the painting, but I think finding unique ways to kind of change my models is something I really enjoy. Um, one of my favorite reposes is like my black cat. I was able to get her um, doing more of like I've got a little podium or pedestal with like a treasure, like a crown on it, and then
Yeah.
my black cat is almost like dropping in from the ceiling, or maybe doing a backflip as she's trying to swipe this treasure thing.
Very
Um,
cool.
yeah, so I enjoy. Yeah, I've enjoyed the hobby side of these games as I've gotten into it more. I do wish I had more time to spend on the hobbies. Most of my hobbying is done kind of at the last minute, usually before I've got an event coming up, and I'm scrambling to get things assembled and painted for that event. So yeah, like all of us, wish I had some more time to put into it, but I do enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I first got in the hobby and for the strategy part of the game, but I fell in love doing the painting thing. I think you basically when you're painting uh like I don't know, a lot of money's worth of Adeptus Mechanicus for 40k. You kind of need to love it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I like I guess I forced myself to love the painting hobby, and yeah, it's I love the one element that I like about Marvel a lot is that I mean, I guess a lot of skirmish games will have this too, but the fact that every model is generally different, you're using different paints, and so it doesn't feel every model feels new and I also like the size of the characters. I don't know what the references or how many millimeter differences between like I don't know whatever measurement they use.
Hmm.
Whereas like 40k is smaller. Like a human in 40k, their physical model is smaller than a human in Marvel, right?
Yeah.
So I like the bigger model means I can uh, it just makes it so there's not as many little cracks and crevices that you have to like put one little hair of a brush
Yep.
into and but
Yeah,
yeah that
don't have to drive yourself as crazy painting endless legions of tiny
that's
space
cool.
marines and stuff.
So how
Yeah.
many like how what's your collection like? Are you one of those guys who has mostly everything or what's the completed number of models look like on your shelf?
Oh, that's a good question. I've got I'd say about two good sized boxes full of painted models. I think early on I was going for that, mindset of buying as much as I could, and then as time goes on, recognizing I just don't have the time that I wish I had
Right, right.
to put into the hobby. So I scale back to really just buying the stuff that I know I'm going to play. Um, and kind of focusing on the affiliations that I enjoy the most. And I've still got a pretty significant pile of shame of unassembled models, unpainted models, and those kinds of things. But I'm up to several dozen painted at least at this point, so
Very
we're
good.
we're getting there. But I certainly don't have all. I'm not a full collector
Yeah, yeah.
with this game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's. It's getting overwhelming. I this is the first year I've put a lot of time into the hobby. If anyone who's watching this, I'm sure they won't be surprised. Yeah. So I've got quite a big collection of painted models, and it's really cool to just like have them all and just like take a step back and look at them and be like, wow, I can't believe like I did all this. It's different because like compared to video games where it's like all of your accomplishments are in the computer screen.
Right.
So it's really cool to have like a representation of your time transferred into a physical object that you can hold in your hands.
I agree. I think that's
Yeah,
great, and I like that it kind of marks, the passage of time as well too, right? You can go back and see some of the your earliest stuff that you painted. You can, kind of see where you were, a few years ago or something,
yeah,
and then compare to your more recent stuff, or go back and update it if you want to.
yeah. That's it is really cool. It's such a really cool hobby. Let's see. Okay, so do you have any like favorite character that's in the game or any model that maybe hasn't been released yet? Any are you a fan of the comics or are you like an MCU guy? Where are you in the Marvel?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think like a lot of people, I grew up on just kind of sporadically grabbing Marvel comics here and there. Usually more of the kind of assembled trade paperbacks, and you know, honestly, most of my comic book reading has been from the library, just picking stuff out, whatever I can get my hands on there. Um, but grew up watching the animated series like X-Men and Spider-Man. Um, big fans of those, and then yeah, have you know big fan of the MCU. Followed all the Fox, Marvel universe, Sony Spider-Man universe, all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of a fan of all of it. Video games. Um, Played a bunch of those kind of Marvel games as well. So I feel like I all of my Marvel lore and fandom comes from all these different sources. Um, which is fine because I think it's not necessarily straightforward in any one source, anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but as far as affiliations or characters in the game, I do think if I had to pick one, I've always been kind of drawn to and a big fan of like the bad guys, specifically like Criminal Syndicate and probably Spider Foes being my um, kind of I think my favorite affiliation, my favorite group of characters. I love those Spider-Man villains. Um, they just got so much character to them.
Yeah.
Um, and early on, I that was one of my first affiliations. I was playing a bunch was original Green Goblin. Um, Back when you had to pay for the leadership, and it was so bad.
Yeah.
But I do love those characters, and so I'm definitely looking forward to um, any further Spider Foes we get. I would love to see a Scorpion make it in there, or there was someone else I had in my mind that I forgot. But yeah, Spider Man's Rogues Gallery is great. I love
Yeah.
those characters.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you've won Nova a couple times now. You are you looking at? Is there any interest in the future of traveling further to any of the larger events that are outside of that circle?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, a few years ago, I guess when I was playing Imperial Assault, I made it out to an Adepticon event one year, and I really enjoyed that. And obviously, LVO being the big one, I've never attended it. Um, I think the thing that holds me back is just probably more personal circumstances. I've got a young, got a toddler at home, and then another baby on the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. I get that.
So those things, it makes it hard to get
Yeah,
away. Um, and then I would love the chance to go to LVO, and I've had the chances. I just haven't been able to make it work. LVO hitting like a month after kind of the Christmas and New Year's holidays is just difficult. To fly across the country
yeah,
when I'm already traveling at holidays and stuff. Um, so I think I have been trying to make it to some other ones. There's a convention that's growing in size and popularity in Virginia, in the city of Richmond. There's the Richmond Open. I think is like early summer each year,
right. I've
and
heard
that
of
one's
that.
yeah, and it's been I can tell it's been growing over the past couple of years. I'm hoping to get to that one in 2025 because it's pretty close to me. And then I've also been trying to get to the Lone Star Open. My family lives outside of Dallas, and actually, yeah, my mom's house is like less than 30 minutes from where the Lone Star Open has been held the last couple of years. So that's another one that I'm always keeping my eye on for trying to make it work. So maybe next year I can get those two.
Yeah, very cool. That's very cool. I'd love to see. I'd love to see how you show up to other events like that and take and maybe get some face-offs that you otherwise wouldn't have got to have. That'd be pretty
For
exciting.
sure, yeah. There's some great players in Texas that make it to the Lone Star Open regularly. So yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ryan, for joining me on the interview here. Congratulations for making this far, and I wish you good luck in your semifinal matchup. And I'd love to see you play Asgard in the finals.
Me too. Me too. I'm gonna do what I can. I know these none of these matches are easy, right? But
No way. Yeah.
yep, I'm facing off against Mark's Hellfire Club next, so and that's gonna be a big challenge. Um, but we will, yeah, I'll keep doing what I've been doing and see if it will work.
Yeah, man. Well, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.